Welcome to Chinta Statistics and Data Science. Today we are going to solve this problem from IIT JAM MS 2022 problem number 40. The problem says that let x1, x2 up to xn be a random sample from a normal mu, 1 distribution where mu is an unknown real number and let alpha lie between 0 and 1. To test the hypothesis h0 mu equals to 0 against h1 mu equals to delta, where delta is something positive, delta is a constant, it's a positive constant. Let beta denote the power of the size alpha test that rejects h0 if and only if 1 by n summation xi, that means x bar, is greater than c alpha for some constant c alpha. Then which of the following statements is or are true? So it's a multiple select question, so more than one options may be correct. So x1 through xn follows IID normal mu comma 1, and we have to test h0, which says mu equals to 0, against h1, which says mu equals to delta, where delta is some positive constant, right? And reject h0 if and only if x bar is greater than c alpha. This 1 by n summation xi is nothing but x bar, right? So x bar greater than c alpha. Now, first of all, the power of the test is, that is beta is nothing but probability under h1 reject h0, right? This one is the power of the test. So first of all, let's find out what C alpha is. So alpha is nothing but the size of the test is alpha, right? So alpha is nothing but probability under H naught, reject H naught. That means probability under H naught, X bar greater than C alpha, right? Now under H naught, that means under the assumption of H naught, the random sample follows normal 0 comma 1, right? Because H naught says that mu equals to 0. So under the assumption of H naught, the random sample follows IID normal 0 comma 1, right? So x bar follows, the sample mean follows normal 0 comma 1 by n. Therefore root n into x bar follows normal 0 1, right? So coming back to this thing, alpha, we have alpha is equals to probability under h naught, root n into x bar is greater than root n into c alpha, multiplying both sides by root n. Now this thing is nothing but z, right? Standard normal. So probability z greater than root n into c alpha. This is alpha. Now this must be the, since this probability z greater than this quantity is alpha, that means this root n into c alpha must be z alpha, right? Z alpha is the upper cutoff point, alpha cutoff point. So it means probability z greater than z alpha is alpha. This is the notation we know. That means root n into c alpha is nothing but z alpha. Therefore, c alpha is nothing but z alpha by root n. Right? This is the quantity. So reject h naught if and only if x bar is greater than z alpha by root n. Right? So we have got the value of c alpha. Now coming back to the power, beta is actually probability under h1 reject h naught. Now h naught is, reject h naught is nothing but x bar greater than z alpha by root n. Remember, c alpha is now actually z alpha by root n, right? So under h1, under the assumption of h1, the x1 through xn follows IIT normal delta comma 1, right? Because h1 says that mu is delta. So delta comma 1. Therefore, x bar follows normal delta comma 1 by n, and root n into x bar minus delta follows normal 0 1. Standardizing this thing. Standardizing the x bar. Now, just standardizing both sides, we get this thing probability under each one. This root n into x bar minus delta is greater than root n into z alpha by root n minus delta, which is probability z greater than root n into z alpha by root n minus delta, which is nothing but probability z greater than z alpha minus root n into delta, right? This is beta. Now, let us first see what happens if we consider delta to be a constant. See, this is the curve of the standard normal distribution. This is the PDF, right? But z alpha is that particular point beyond which the area is alpha, right? So z alpha is that point, such that probability z, we know that probability z greater than z alpha is alpha. We know that, right? This thing. This is the notation. That this means what? That means if there is a line through the x-axis, which at the point z alpha, then beyond that line, the area of the curve beyond that line is alpha, right? So this particular thing is alpha. This particular thing. So first we are actually considering delta to be constant. So if delta is constant, then root n into delta is also constant, because n is nothing but the sample size. So this entire thing is constant, right? So this entire thing beta now becomes a function of alpha, right? So we are actually fixing delta and seeing what happens as alpha changes, what happens to beta as alpha changes. Now see, if alpha increases, this is the symbol I'm using for the simplification. If alpha increases, then see, if alpha denotes the area beyond the line z alpha, right? So if alpha increases, the area increases, then z alpha must, has to be that z alpha must decrease, right? That means z alpha must shift to the left. It has to shift to the left, right? Think about it. The alpha is actually the area to the right of this line. If alpha increases, that means this line has to shift to the left, right? So if alpha increases, that means z alpha must decrease, right? Now, if Z alpha decreases, then Z alpha minus root n into delta also decreases, because this is nothing but a constant. So adding this constant, this subtracting this constant is again doing nothing. So if this decreases, Z alpha decreases, then Z alpha minus root n into delta is also decreases. Now if this decreases, think about it. This is Z alpha minus root n into delta. This obviously is less than Z alpha, right? So beta is actually probability z greater than this quantity. So beta is actually the area after this line, right? Area, this area. So if this line actually decreases, then beta is actually increasing, right? Because beta denotes the area of the curve after this line, right? So if this line is shifts to the left, decreasing means what? It is shifting to the left. So if this shifts to the left, then the area is actually increasing. The area, this beta denotes this area, right? This entire area beyond this line. So if this line goes there, this shifts to the left, then the area increases. That means ultimately, if alpha increases, then beta also increases, right? That means for a fixed delta, beta increases as alpha increases. So option A is true. Option A is true. Now for fixing alpha, what if we fix alpha and see what happens to beta as we change delta? So this again, this quantity is the same. Beta is equals to probability z greater than z alpha minus root n into delta. Now, if alpha is fixed, then obviously z alpha is also fixed, right? Obviously, z alpha is fixed. That means this line is fixed, this particular line. Now, suppose delta increases, then minus root n into delta decreases because there is a negative sign. So minus root n into delta decreases, right? Now again, minus root n into delta plus z alpha decreases because now z alpha is just a constant. So adding this constant doesn't change anything. So it again decreases. That means this entire thing, this minus root n into delta plus z alpha decreases. Now if this decreases, then beta increases. Why? Think about it. If delta increases, then this quantity decreases. Again, just from the previous idea, if this quantity decreases, then that means it is shifting to the left, and hence, since beta is nothing but the area beyond this line, therefore the area is increasing, right? Because if the line is here, then the area is this entire quantity. Beta is this quantity, but if the line is here, then obviously it gets that extra area as well. Initially it was getting this area only, beta was this only, but if this line shifts to the left, even more to the left, then it is also getting this area as well, right? So beta increases. That means if delta increases, beta increases. Therefore for fixed alpha, beta increases as delta increases. Therefore option B is also true. Option A is also true and option B is also true. These are the two correct options of this problem. For fixed value of delta, beta increases as a function of alpha as alpha increases, and for fixed value of alpha, beta increases as delta increases. So these are the two options. So yeah, there you have it, the solution to this problem. So do like, share and subscribe to the channel for more exciting problems. See you till next time.